Eliza Harrington stormed into the upscale Manhattan bistro like she owned the place, which wasn't far from the truth. Her father's real estate empire practically did. With her designer heels clicking against the marble floor, she flung her coat at the nearest waiter and demanded a table for one, her voice slicing through the ambient chatter. But when Rhiannon, the unassuming server with a rainbow pin discreetly tucked on her apron, approached with a polite smile, Eliza's eyes narrowed in disdain, and she let out a mocking laugh that turned heads. "Oh honey, is this what passes for service these days? A dyke in a dive like this? Save the pride parade for after hours." Rhiannon's face flushed, but she held her ground, her hands steady as she set down the menu. The bistro wasn't a dive. It was one of the city's hidden gems, frequented by the elite who pretended to slum it for authenticity. Rhiannon had worked there for 3 years, scraping by on tips while pursuing her art degree, and she'd dealt with entitled patrons before. But something about Eliza's venom hit differently. It wasn't just rude, it was calculated cruelty. "Ma'am, if you'd like to order," she started, but Eliza cut her off with a wave of her manicured hand. "Don't ma'am me. Do you even know who I am? Eliza Harrington. My father could buy this place and fire you on a whim." Eliza leaned back, crossing her legs, her silk blouse shimmering under the lights. The other diners whispered, some smirking, others averting their eyes. Rhiannon felt the heat rise in her chest, a mix of anger and humiliation. Why did people like Eliza always think they could wield their privilege like a weapon? She took a deep breath, reminding herself of the rent due next week. "What can I get for you, Miss Harrington?" Eliza scanned the menu with exaggerated boredom. "Just a salad. And make it quick, I have a board meeting to attend." As Rhiannon turned to leave, Eliza muttered loudly enough for nearby tables to hear. "God, the things they let in here. Next thing you know, they'll be serving rainbow sprinkles with every meal." Laughter rippled from a couple of suited men nearby, and Rhiannon's steps faltered. She paused, her mind racing. She knew the Harrington name all too well, not from tabloids, but from a painful chapter in her own life. Her mother had worked as a nanny for the Harringtons years ago, and the secrets she'd confided in Rhiannon before passing away last year were explosive. Back in the kitchen, Rhiannon gripped the counter, her knuckles white. She shouldn't do it. It was petty, unprofessional. But Eliza's words echoed in her head, stirring up old wounds. Her own coming out had cost her family ties. Her conservative parents had disowned her at 18, leaving her to fend for herself. And now, this spoiled heiress was throwing slurs like confetti. No, she decided. Enough. When she returned with the salad, she placed it down gently, then leaned in close. "Enjoy your meal, Miss Harrington. But before you mock someone else's life, maybe ask your father about his sister, Aunt Lydia, the one he paid to disappear after she fell in love with a woman." Eliza's fork froze midway to her mouth. "What did you just say?" Her voice was a whisper, but the color drained from her face. Rhiannon straightened, her eyes steady. "Your family's darkest secret. Lydia Harrington didn't die in that accident, like the papers said. She ran away with her lover, and your father covered it up to protect the empire. My mom was there, she saw it all." The bistro seemed to hold its breath. Eliza's mind reeled. Aunt Lydia? The family never spoke of her, only vague mentions of a tragic loss. But if this was true, she shoved the plate away, standing abruptly. "You're lying. Get out of my sight." Rhiannon didn't budge. "Am I? Check the old family albums. Or better yet, ask Daddy Dearest why he funds anti-LGBT groups while hiding his own blood." Eliza's heart pounded. This couldn't be real. She grabbed her coat and fled the bistro, the door slamming behind her. Outside, in the crisp New York air, she hailed a cab, her thoughts a whirlwind. If Rhiannon was right, everything she knew about her family was a lie. And worse, her own buried feelings, the ones she'd suppressed since college, when a fleeting crush on her roommate had terrified her, might not be so abnormal after all. That night, Eliza paced her penthouse apartment overlooking Central Park. The city lights blurred through her tears. Her father, Theodore Harrington, was a pillar of conservative values, donating millions to causes that railed against moral decay. He'd raised her to be the perfect heiress. Poised heterosexual, destined for a strategic marriage. But Aunt Lydia? Eliza dug through old boxes in the storage room, her hands trembling as she pulled out faded photos. There she was, Lydia, smiling with a woman whose arm was around her waist. The inscription on the back: "To Theo, love always, L&M." Eliza sank to the floor. It was true. The next morning, fueled by a mix of rage and curiosity, Eliza returned to the bistro. Rhiannon was wiping tables, her shift ending soon. "You," Eliza said, pointing. "We need to talk." Rhiannon sighed, wiping her hands on her apron. "I'm off in 10. Meet me out back." In the alley, under the shadow of skyscrapers, Rhiannon lit a cigarette. "What do you want?" "An apology for spilling your tea." Eliza crossed her arms. "Proof. How do I know you're not making this up for a quick buck?" Rhiannon exhaled smoke, her eyes weary. "My mom, Elena, was your aunt's nanny. Lydia confided in her. When Theo found out about the affair, he threatened to cut Lydia off. She chose love over money, faked her death in a boating accident, and fled to Europe with Maria. Theo paid my mom hush money, but she told me on her deathbed. Said it haunted her." Eliza's stomach twisted. "Why tell me now?" Rhiannon shrugged. "You pushed me. And maybe it's time the Harringtons faced their hypocrisy." Eliza left the alley shaken. Over the following days, she confronted her father in his opulent office. "Aunt Lydia, is she alive?" Theodore's face hardened. "Where did you hear that nonsense?" But his evasion confirmed it. "Drop it, Eliza. It's for the family's good." She stormed out, her world cracking. That evening, she found herself back at the bistro, ordering coffee just to see Rhiannon. "Why help me?" she asked softly. Rhiannon poured the cup. "Because I know what it's like to hide who you are. And you? You're drowning in it." As weeks passed, their encounters grew from tense exchanges to tentative conversations. Eliza learned about Rhiannon's art, her dreams of exhibiting in galleries. Rhiannon shared stories of rejection, of lovers lost to societal pressure. Eliza, in turn, confessed her fears: the pressure to marry a man from her father's circle, the loneliness of her gilded cage. One rainy afternoon, as they shared a booth after closing, Eliza's hand brushed Rhiannon's. A spark ignited, but she pulled away. "I can't," she whispered. "My life. It's not like yours." Rhiannon's eyes softened. "No one's life is easy. But denying yourself? That's the real prison." Eliza left that night with a heaviness in her chest, the first stirrings of something forbidden blooming inside her. She knew pursuing this would mean betraying her family's expectations, risking everything. But for the first time, she wondered if the cost was worth it. Eliza couldn't shake Rhiannon from her mind. Days turned into a blur of board meetings and social galas, where she smiled through gritted teeth, her father's approving nods feeling like chains. At night, alone in her vast bedroom, she replayed their conversations. The way Rhiannon's laugh cut through the pretense, the quiet strength in her voice when she spoke of her past. It was dangerous, this pull. Eliza had always prided herself on control, on fitting the mold her family demanded. But now, cracks were forming, and doubt seeped in like water through a dam. One evening, after a particularly grueling dinner with potential suitors handpicked by her father, Eliza slipped away to the bistro. It was late, the crowd thinning. Rhiannon was behind the counter, sketching on a napkin. "Couldn't stay away?" she teased, sliding a cup of herbal tea over. Eliza sat, her shoulders slumping. "I need to understand. About Lydia, did she ever regret it?" Rhiannon set down her pencil. "From what Mom said, no. She found freedom. But it cost her everything. Family, fortune, safety. Theo made sure she couldn't come back." Eliza stared into her tea. "My father. He's not a monster. He's just protecting us." Rhiannon raised an eyebrow. "Protecting the image, you mean? The Harrington brand doesn't allow for deviations." The word stung, echoing Eliza's inner turmoil. She'd dated men, convinced herself it was enough. But the emptiness lingered. "What if I'm like her?" she whispered. Rhiannon reached across, her touch gentle. "Then you have a choice. Hide or live." Their meetings became secret rituals. Eliza would arrive in disguise, a hat, oversized sunglasses, paranoid about paparazzi. They talked for hours. About Rhiannon's estranged family in the Midwest, who sent Bible verses instead of birthday cards, about Eliza's mother who had died young, leaving her to navigate her father's rigid world alone. One night, as they walked through a quiet park after Rhiannon's shift, rain began to fall. Under a shelter, Eliza confessed, "I've never felt this way. It's terrifying." Rhiannon turned to her, raindrops glistening on her lashes. Terrifying can be good. It means it's real. The first kiss happened impulsively, a brush of lips that sent shockwaves through Eliza. She pulled back, panic rising. "We can't. If anyone finds out." Rhiannon nodded, understanding the stakes. "I know, but denying it won't make it go away." Eliza fled home, her mind a storm. The next day, her father called her into his study. "You've been distant. Is there a man?" His tone was probing, expectant. Eliza forced a smile. "No, Dad. Just busy." But inside, guilt gnawed at her. Was she betraying him? Or herself? As their relationship deepened in stolen moments, the conflicts mounted. Rhiannon pushed for honesty. "You can't live a double life forever." Eliza resisted, citing the family's conservative donors, the board's expectations. "I'd lose everything, my position, my inheritance." One argument escalated in Rhiannon's tiny apartment, cluttered with canvases. "And what about me?" Rhiannon demanded. "Am I just your secret shame?" Eliza's eyes filled with tears. "No. You're everything. But it's complicated." The turning point came at a charity gala. Eliza, on her father's arm, spotted Rhiannon catering the event, a side gig for extra cash. Their eyes met across the room, a silent plea. But when a drunk guest made a homophobic joke, Eliza laughed along to blend in, her heart breaking as she saw Rhiannon's face fall. Later in the restroom, Rhiannon confronted her. "You laughed. At us." Eliza grabbed her arm. "I had to. Please understand." Rhiannon pulled away. "I do. And that's the problem. You're choosing them over us." Devastated, Eliza threw herself into work, avoiding the bistro. But the void grew. She researched Lydia online, finding obscure forums hinting at the truth. One night, she drove to Rhiannon's building, pounding on the door. "I'm sorry," she sobbed when Rhiannon answered. "I can't lose you." They reconciled in a rush of emotions, but the peace was fragile. Eliza began questioning her father's motives, digging into company records. She discovered donations to conversion therapy groups, hypocrisy at its core. Tensions boiled over when Theodore announced her engagement to a business ally's son, Marcus. "It's perfect for the merger," he said casually over breakfast. Eliza's fork clattered. "What if I don't want this?" He frowned. "Don't be ridiculous. This is your duty." She stormed out, calling Rhiannon. "I can't do it. Help me." They met in a coffee shop, plotting. "Come out," Rhiannon urged. "Expose the lies." But Eliza hesitated, fearing the fallout. The betrayal came unexpectedly. A tabloid photo surfaced. Eliza and Rhiannon in the park, captured by a hidden camera. Theodore raged in his office. "Who is she? Some gold digger?" Eliza stood tall. "She's my girlfriend." The word hung heavy. Theodore's face twisted. "End it, or you're cut off." Eliza refused, walking out with nothing but her resolve. But the real pain hit when she learned Rhiannon had been fired from the bistro, pressure from Harrington connections. Rhiannon packed her things bitter. "Your family ruins lives." Eliza begged forgiveness. "I'll fix this. We'll fight together." But doubt crept in. Had she dragged Rhiannon into her mess? The media frenzy began. Headlines screaming, "Harrington heiress's scandalous affair." Protests outside the family home, donors pulling out. Eliza's phone buzzed with hate messages, her social circle evaporating. In the midst of it, she found a letter from Lydia. Rhiannon had tracked her down online. "Dear Eliza, choose love. It's worth the price." Tears streamed as she read it. Yet the damage was done. Rhiannon, facing eviction, lashed out. "I lost everything for you." Eliza countered. "So did I." Their fight echoed through the apartment, words like daggers. In the end, Rhiannon left, slamming the door. Eliza collapsed, alone again. Was this the freedom Lydia spoke of? Or just more chains? Months dragged on in a haze of isolation for Eliza. Cut off from the family fortune, she moved into a modest Brooklyn apartment, scraping by on freelance consulting gigs. The once glamorous life felt like a distant dream, replaced by the harsh reality of bills and anonymity. She missed Rhiannon fiercely. The way her presence had ignited a fire within her, challenging every assumption. But pride and hurt kept her from reaching out. Instead, she threw herself into activism, volunteering at LGBT centers, channeling her pain into purpose. It was there, amid support groups, that she heard stories mirroring her own. Families torn by prejudice, loves lost to fear. One crisp autumn day, Eliza attended a rally against conversion therapy. Standing on the fringes, she spotted Rhiannon in the crowd, holding a sign that read, "Love isn't a sin." Their eyes locked, a torrent of emotions surging. Rhiannon approached warily. "Didn't expect to see you here." Eliza swallowed hard. "I'm trying to make amends. For everything." They walked to a nearby bench, the rally's chants fading. "I read Lydia's letter," Rhiannon said softly. "She wants to meet you." The revelation stunned Eliza. Together, they planned a trip to Paris, where Lydia lived quietly with Maria. But first, bridges needed mending. Over coffee they unpacked the hurt. "I was scared," Eliza admitted, "of losing control." Rhiannon nodded. "And I pushed too hard. But we both paid the price." Tentatively they rebuilt. Dates in hidden cafes, nights sharing dreams. Eliza's coming out had inspired some, alienated others. Her father remained silent, but whispers of boardroom unrest reached her. The trip to Paris was a turning point. Lydia, now in her 60s, welcomed them with open arms in a cozy apartment overlooking the Seine. "You look just like your mother," she said, hugging Eliza. Over wine, stories poured out. The forbidden love, the fake death, the years of exile. "Theo was terrified of scandal," Lydia explained. "Our parents drilled conformity into us. He thought he was saving the family." Eliza's anger softened to pity. "But at what cost?" "He drove you away." Maria, Lydia's partner, added. "We built a life here. No regrets." Rhiannon squeezed Eliza's hand under the table, a silent affirmation. Back in New York, empowered, Eliza confronted her father again. Bursting into his office, she laid out photos from Paris. "She's alive, Dad. And happy." Theodore's face crumpled. "I did what I had to." But cracks showed, regret in his eyes. "I lost my sister. Don't make me lose you too." The negotiation was tense. Eliza demanded changes. End anti-LGBT donations, support equality initiatives. Theodore resisted at first, citing business. "The board won't stand for it." But Eliza pressed. "Then lose the board. Or lose me forever." In a surprising twist, he agreed to step down, handing her partial control. It was a victory but bittersweet. Rhiannon warned, "Power corrupts. Don't become him." As Eliza navigated her new role, strains emerged in their relationship. Board meetings consumed her, echoing her father's absences. Rhiannon's art suffered from neglect. "You're slipping back," Rhiannon accused one night. Eliza snapped, "I'm fixing things. For us." The argument escalated, revealing deeper fissures. Rhiannon felt like an afterthought. Eliza battled imposter syndrome, fearing she'd fail. A moral dilemma arose when a lucrative deal involved a company with homophobic ties. Eliza hesitated, approve it for profits, or reject and risk jobs. Rhiannon urged rejection. "It's a test. Who are you now?" Eliza chose integrity, rejecting the deal, but it sparked backlash. Employees protested layoffs. Media painted her as reckless. In the chaos, an anonymous tip revealed Theodore's sabotage. He'd leaked info to undermine her. Betrayed, Eliza confronted him at the family estate. "Why? I thought we had a truce." Theodore sighed. "You're destroying what I built." Tears fell as she realized his love was conditional. "Then I'm done." She walked away, severing ties. Rhiannon was there, waiting. "You did the right thing." But the toll was heavy. Eliza's confidence shattered, questioning every decision. Their bond strengthened through the storm, but society struck back. A conservative group targeted Rhiannon's upcoming art show, protesting degenerate themes. Vandals smashed windows, threats poured in. Rhiannon wavered. Is this worth it? Eliza held her. We fight. Together. They rallied allies, turning the show into a statement. Opening night was electric, crowds applauding. But afterward, exhaustion hit. We've lost so much, Rhiannon whispered. Eliza reflected on the prices paid. Family, security, peace. Yet, in Rhiannon's arms, she found worth. Still, doubts lingered. Had her choices been right or selfish? The world watched, judging. The aftermath of the art show brought a fragile calm. Eliza and Rhiannon moved in together, a small victory in their shared apartment filled with Rhiannon's paintings and Eliza's scattered files. Mornings were quiet coffees and plans for the future. Nights, passionate debates on ethics and change. But shadows loomed. Theodore's influence lingered. Subtle blocks in business deals, whispers among old allies. Eliza pushed forward, reforming the company into a beacon for inclusivity, but each step felt like wading through quicksand. One afternoon, a letter arrived from an unknown sender. Inside, documents detailing Theodore's past misdeeds. Embezzlement to fund the cover-up, bribes to silence witnesses. Use this, Rhiannon said, eyes wide. End him. Eliza stared at the papers. Exposing her father would destroy him, but also secure her position. The moral quandary tore at her. He's family, she murmured. Rhiannon countered. Family that betrayed you. Think of the lives he's ruined. The decision weighed heavy. Eliza met Lydia via video call, seeking advice. Forgiveness or justice? Lydia pondered. Sometimes both. But don't let hate consume you. Torn, Eliza chose to confront Theodore privately first. At a neutral cafe, she slid the documents across. I could ruin you. His hands shook. Why haven't you? Tears in his eyes, he confessed. I was wrong. About Lydia, about you. Fear ruled me. For the first time, vulnerability cracked his facade. Eliza softened. Change then. Publicly. Theodore's public apology at a press conference shocked the world. He admitted the cover-up, pledged reparations. Donors returned, stocks soared. But for Eliza, it was hollow. Rhiannon questioned. Was that enough? He gets redemption. Eliza nodded wearily. Everyone deserves a chance. Their differing views sparked tension. Rhiannon, scarred by her own family's rejection, saw leniency as weakness. You're too forgiving. The rift grew when Rhiannon received an offer for a solo exhibition in LA, a dream come true, but requiring relocation. It's temporary, she said. Eliza panicked. What about us? The company? Rhiannon's eyes flashed. I've sacrificed for you. Now it's my turn. Eliza felt the sting of hypocrisy. Had she become the oppressor? The argument peaked. Go then. Live your life. Rhiannon packed, leaving with a slammed door. Alone, Eliza spiraled. Friends from the center urged therapy. She attended sessions, unpacking layers of trauma. You've internalized the hate, the counselor said. Let go. Meanwhile, Rhiannon thrived in LA, her art gaining acclaim. Social media posts showed her smiling with new friends. Was there someone else? Jealousy gnawed at Eliza. She flew out unannounced, confronting Rhiannon at the gallery. I can't lose you. Rhiannon's face hardened. You pushed me away. Tears flowed as they hashed it out in a back room. I was scared, Eliza admitted. Of failing you. Rhiannon softened. We're both broken. But we heal together. They reconciled, but Rhiannon stayed for the show. Distance tested them, late-night calls, visits fraught with passion and arguments. Back in New York, a new threat emerged. A lawsuit from former employees claiming discrimination under Theodore's reign. Eliza, as CEO, was implicated. Defending it meant dredging up family secrets. She chose transparency, testifying honestly. The case settled, but reputations tarnished. Rhiannon returned supportive. You faced it head-on. Yet the cumulative toll manifested in Eliza's health. Sleepless nights, anxiety attacks. One evening, she broke down. Was it all worth it? The pain, the losses. Rhiannon held her. Look at what we've gained. Truth, love. But doubts persisted. Society's acceptance was superficial. Backlash continued. At a pride event, protesters hurled slurs, reminding them of the fight's endlessness. In a moment of clarity, Eliza proposed a joint venture, an art foundation for LGBT youth, merging their worlds. Rhiannon agreed, excited. Planning bonded them, but external pressures mounted. Theodore, now retired, reached out for reconciliation. A family dinner was tense, awkward hugs, stilted talk. "I'm proud," he said finally. Eliza wept, a wound closing. As the foundation launched, success brought scrutiny. A rival leaked old emails showing Eliza's past complicity in donations. Public outcry demanded her resignation. "Hypocrite," headlines screamed. Rhiannon stood by her. "We all evolve." But Eliza questioned her worth. "Maybe they're right. I don't deserve this." The crisis peaked at the launch gala. Protesters outside. Inside, whispers. Eliza took the stage, voice steady. "I was part of the problem. Now, I'm part of the solution. Judge me by my actions now." Applause followed, but the damage lingered. Rhiannon pulled her aside. "You did good." Their kiss, public for the first time, sealed a defiant bond. Still, the prices paid echoed. Lost innocence, fractured families, enduring scars. Eliza wondered if the awakening justified the turmoil. With the foundation thriving, Eliza and Rhiannon settled into a rhythm of advocacy and art. Mornings in their loft were filled with sunlight and shared ambitions. Evenings, events where they stood hand in hand, symbols of resilience. But beneath the surface, unresolved tensions simmered. Rhiannon's time in LA had planted seeds of independence. She craved space, while Eliza clung tighter, fearing abandonment. "We need balance," Rhiannon said one night over dinner. Eliza nodded, but insecurity festered. A new conflict arose when Theodore fell ill. A heart condition, stress-induced. He called Eliza to his bedside. "Forgive me," he whispered. She did, but the visit stirred old pains. Rhiannon empathized yet warned. "Don't let him pull you back." Eliza balanced visits with work, but guilt mounted. "He's changing," she insisted. Rhiannon rolled her eyes. Leopards and spots. The real test came with a high-profile case. A young woman sued Harrington Enterprises for past discrimination. Eliza offered a settlement, but the plaintiff demanded a public trial. "Expose the rot," she said. Eliza agreed, testifying about her transformation. The courtroom was a battlefield. Lawyers dissecting her life, media feasting. Rhiannon attended every day, her support unwavering. But on the stand, Eliza faced cross-examination. "You profited from hate. Why believe you've changed?" Her response was raw. "Because love changed me. Rhiannon changed me." The jury ruled in favor, but the victory was Pyrrhic. Emotional exhaustion set in. Post-trial, Rhiannon proposed a getaway to recharge. In a quiet cabin upstate, they reconnected, talking dreams. "I want a family," Rhiannon confessed. Eliza hesitated. With all this chaos, the conversation turned tense. "Life's chaotic. We make it work." Returning, they faced societal pushback. A conservative bill threatened LGBT rights. They lobbied against it, rallying crowds. Success came, but at a cost: death threats, increased security. One night, a brick shattered their window, scrawled with hate. Rhiannon trembled. "When does it end?" Eliza held her. "We keep fighting." Internally, Eliza grappled with morality. Had her initial mockery of Rhiannon set this chain in motion? Was her redemption genuine or performative? Therapy helped, but answers eluded. Rhiannon, too, reflected on her revelation. Had exposing the secret been vengeance or justice? "Both," she admitted. Their honesty deepened their bond, but scars remained. A final betrayal struck from an unexpected source. Maria, Lydia's partner, revealed in a letter that Lydia had second thoughts about leaving. She missed the family, it read. Eliza shared it with Rhiannon. Even she regretted? Rhiannon shook her head. No. She chose love, despite the pain. The insight prompted Eliza to write her memoir, detailing the journey. Publishing it was cathartic, sparking debates nationwide. As the book toured, questions arose. Was coming out selfish if it hurt others? Did forgiveness excuse harm? At a signing, a fan asked, "Did you do the right thing?" Eliza paused. "I think so. But the price was high." Years condensed into moments of growth. The foundation expanded. Theodore passed peacefully, leaving a reformed legacy. Eliza and Rhiannon adopted a child, building the family they dreamed. Yet, in quiet times, Eliza pondered the what-ifs. Had she stayed silent, life would be easier, but emptier. In the end, their story became a testament to resilience, inspiring countless others. But the awakening came with irreversible changes. Bonds broken, selves remade. As they watched their daughter play, Rhiannon whispered, "Worth it." Eliza smiled. "Every bit." Was it truly right to upend lives for personal truth, or does family loyalty demand silence in the face of hypocrisy?